I used to be on anxiety medication. I used to overthink on what people thought about me. You have to question yourself. I am very unbothered of people's opinions of me. Accept the things that have already happened. They're done. A lot of things can be fixed with good communication and open and honest communication. Now, this can be a very tricky thing. Overthinking can ruin your life. It is when your brain spirals down negative thought patterns of something that could have happened in the past, something that may happen in the future, but either way, it does not serve us in any way at all. Jesus said it best when he said, "Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life?" The answer is no. Worrying and overthinking serves no purpose. So today we're going to go into some of my advice for how to stop overthinking. Hello everyone. If this is the first time you are seeing my face or hearing my voice, my name is Karis, and this is Highest and Best, where we focus on elevating your life and unlocking your full potential. Now, overthinking is something that I really wanted to dive deep into because over the years, I have learned how to stop overthinking. I used to be on anxiety medication. I used to overthink on what people thought about me, on things that happened in the past, on things I couldn't control. And at the end of the day, it did not serve me whatsoever. But everything has completely changed now. And so I wanted to share some of the things that helped me learn to not overthink. So the first thing we're going to discuss is finding the root. Now, when you start to overthink, you have to question yourself. You have to figure out, where is this coming from? For example, if you want to start a business, and instead you're overthinking, well, this could go wrong and that could happen and I shouldn't do this because then this will happen. Question yourself. Why am I thinking this? What is the root of this overthinking? Is it because you don't want to be perceived as a failure by other people? Is it because maybe you've seen someone in your family who tried to start a business but they didn't succeed, and so you think that's going to happen to you? What can sometimes happen with overthinking is that it can be based on what we've done in the past, and how we've handled certain situation has then led to us having a certain lens and perspective of how things will work out in the future. So when it comes to overthinking, you need to look at it from a logical sense and say, what is it that is causing this overthinking? What is triggering me to worry about this situation? Find the root and then see if you can backtrack into what that trigger was of what started it. I will give a personal example from my experience when I was overthinking what everybody thought about me. I was overthinking people's opinions of what I was doing, what I was wearing, how I looked. And I realized when I looked at it, I found that the root was due to the fact that I was bullied in school very badly, which is a story for another day, but we're through it. Now I'm very unbothered of people's opinions of me, which is great, but I realized what that root was. And that logical perspective of it completely changed it, rather than me looking at it from an emotional standpoint. So take a step back from a neutral perspective, look at what you're overthinking and worrying about, and find out what that root is. The second thing you're going to want to do is change your mindset from what could go wrong to what could go right. If you are feeling those anxious thoughts of worrying about the future, or worrying about a path that you're going to take, or a job you're going to take, or an opportunity that's been provided to you, do not think of it from what could go wrong in this situation. It's coming from a scarcity mindset. You have to flip the switch, change the script into what could go right. What are some great things that could come out of this opportunity, that could come out of this new job? Changing that mindset into an abundance mindset will completely reframe the way you look at it, and it will relieve those anxious thoughts because you start thinking about all the good things that could happen from this specific thing. Now, my third tip on how to stop overthinking is to know what you can and can't control. This is something that really helped me stop overthinking, but also stop stressing. And for me, using that example of caring about other people's opinions of me, at the end of the day, people are going to have their opinions of you no matter what you do. I stand by the phrase, people's opinion of you is none of your business. Everyone's going to have an opinion. You can't control that. So when I realized that and I thought, okay, well, I can't control people's opinion of me. They're going to have an opinion no matter what I do. Same thing, completely took the overthinking away, the stress away, the anxiety away, because I could not control that. It's the same thing about overthinking of something that's happened in the past. If it's already happened, you cannot control that. The only thing that you can do is make any necessary adjustments to fix maybe a certain behavior, certain way that was acted for future things that happen. But if it's in the past, it's gone, it's done, you can't control it. Now, what you can do is when you're looking at what you're overthinking about, what is there in that you can control? That is what you want to focus on. I love the serenity prayer that says, God, give me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. That right there speaks it all. Accept the things that have already happened. They're done. Have courage in order to change the things that can be changed. Look at it from a logical mindset. What can I do to fix this, to help this, to take advantage of this opportunity? And have wisdom to know the difference. The next thing is to get logical. Now, this can be a very tricky thing, especially when emotions are running high. It's hard to switch the feelings off and to switch more into an analytical mindset. But it will help you to stop overthinking. Something that I love to do is to get everything out on pen and paper. Now, this could be in a couple of different ways. It could be in journaling. Maybe you just want to write things out, spill it all on a piece of paper, how you're feeling, and release that tension that's building up. And maybe getting it out onto pen and paper will help you to maybe figure out what the things are that you can and you cannot change, or just relieve some of the stress and the anxiety that you're feeling. The thing that I like to do personally is I am a pros and cons person. I write pros and cons for everything. And that helps me look at it from a logical mindset and take my emotions out of it. It would also allow you to gain clarity because you're having to put things into words instead of just a mix of feelings and emotions. Something you can also do is talk it out with a loved one, someone who genuinely will be able to help you analyze everything and maybe be an ear for you. Speaking it out with somebody will also help you gain clarity. Now, you need to speak to the right person. I would like to make sure that is said, because sometimes you can speak to people and they may make it about them, and you just want to make sure the person that you're talking to is someone that will either be an ear if you just need to vent it out and talk it out, or someone who is a problem solver. But getting out how you're feeling, whether it's verbally or writing it out, should help you be able to get clarity on what it is you're overthinking about and how you can make some steps moving forward. Talking it out also can have somebody else be able to give a bird's eye perspective and see from the outside maybe something that you're missing. We love an unbiased opinion. The next thing is to work on open communication. Communication is the number one thing that needs to be there in any relationship that you have, whether it's a husband, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a friend, a coworker, a parent, a grandparent, a cousin. No matter what relationship you have, a business partner, anybody, that relationship is built on good communication. Unfortunately, most marriages actually end in divorce because of a lack of communication. People don't talk And when people don't talk, they eventually begin to resent each other, because when there are issues, they don't get talked about. Or even in a business relationship, it often could not work out because someone's feeling some type of way. It's not talked about. It builds into resentment, and then it doesn't end well. A lot of things can be fixed with good communication and open and honest communication. Now, this is something where I really recommend working on your emotional intelligence. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't. And so that is where there can be an issue. But the best thing that you can do is do what you can control. And you can control what you work on. So work on your emotional intelligence. And one of the things I recommend with emotional intelligence is taking time to respond rather than react in a situation. So whoever you are talking to in any situation, especially when you're feeling these thoughts of overthinking and anxiety and stress, emotions can run high and run hot. And you don't want to say things that you can't take back. So whenever things are maybe heated or emotions are just running high, take a minute, stop, breathe, bring yourself back down to neutral so that you can give a logical response rather than just reacting and saying something that you didn't mean or acting a certain way, or it's not going to solve anything. The last piece of advice I have for you for stopping overthinking is practicing positive self-talk. Now, for example, in the situation I was talking about where I was being bullied and it led me to constantly overthinking about other people's opinions and how they thought of me and everything else. And I would just constantly spiral into negative self-talk. I would tear myself down when I saw myself in the mirror and when I saw myself in pictures because of the voices that I had from what other people used to say about me. And that's so toxic to hold on to that. And if you are someone who you feel like that negative self-talk is something that is on repeat in your mind, just know that you can control what you're thinking about. And practicing positive self-talk takes work. But what's great is that it's a skill that can be constantly worked on. And so if you feel yourself spiraling into negative self-talk, whether it's when you look in the mirror, when you do something with your business, you face rejection, maybe you try on clothes, whether it's after a conversation with somebody, whenever that's happening and you feel yourself spiraling, cut yourself off. Say, I do not accept this. And then start to speak life over yourself. I love the phrase, there's power of life and death in the tongue. It says it in the Bible. It's true. You can speak death over yourself, which is what I used to do. But then I learned how to speak life over myself and speak positivity over myself. And now when I see myself in the mirror and when I'm out in public and where typically I would walk around with my head down on my phone, trying to not have people look at me, I am a completely different person. I am walking in like I own that room. And that all came from a lot of work, a lot of positive self-talk. And, there are still some days where I'm like, oh, I don't feel like I look good. But I completely snap myself out of it. I cut myself off because you are created by the living God. And you need to treat yourself as such. You were created so beautifully and wonderfully made. And you are unique in so many incredible ways. And speaking life over yourself can have such powerful impacts into everything that you do. So no matter what you're overthinking about, just know that you are loved, you are enough, and you can do whatever it is that you put your mind to. So start to implement some of these things that I talked about and give yourself some grace, give yourself some patience. Like I said, it's been years that I've had to build up in order to get past overthinking. Like I said, I used to take anxiety medication, everything to try and make myself get out of this craziness that was going on in my head. But no, there's light at the end of the tunnel. and you can get past this. Be present in the moment, what's going on. Give yourself grace, practice gratitude, and just be patient with yourself. I hope some of these tips helped you today. If they did, please let me know down below. And whether you're watching this on YouTube and you can subscribe, or maybe you're listening to this on a podcast, maybe you can follow and stay along for the journey. I hope you're enjoying Highest and Best so far. I'm just thrilled to be here and to be able to create this content for everyone. And if I can help one person, then I've done my job and what I believe God has called me to do. So thank you for listening. I hope this helped, and I will see you in the next one.